Hello and welcome to Incredibly Influential Interviews. This episode is sponsored by skunknuggetparenting.com, run by my very own mother. Parenting is hard, and it often seems like parents and kids are on two separate teams. Thankfully, there's a solution for that. At Skunk Nugget Parenting, we excel in parent coaching, resource referrals, and both neurotypical and atypical profiles. We build a tailored plan for your situation, including 24/7 phone and text access and weekly appointment times convenient for your schedule. All coaching is done virtually in the comfort of your own home. Not only that, but your first 30-minute consultation is free. Go to skunknuggetparenting.com to finally get some sanity back in your home. That's skunknuggetparenting.com. Thank you, and on with the show. Hello, and welcome to Incredibly Influential Interviews. I'm here with Moelgaard, who is a bartender from Denmark, and we just wanted to ask him a couple of questions, but I'll let him sort of do his own little introduction. Go
Uh,
ahead.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, my name is Moelgaard, and I'm a Danish bartender, and I'm mostly like doing it for fun, uh, because of the situation I'm in, and I'm probably gonna talk about that in a few minutes. But
Oh,
yeah,
excellent. So I guess just sort of the first question is just how old are you? Obviously.
oh yeah, I just turned 21.
All right, cool, cool. Happy belated birthday, actually.
Thank you, thank you.
Um, and then I guess what part of Denmark are you from, roughly?
It's Denmark is a small country, but it's in the middle, right, central Denmark.
All right, pretty cool, pretty cool. And then obviously, uh, professionally, you are a bartender.
Yeah,
Um, when did you get into that? When did you start doing that?
it's almost half a year since I started as a bartender.
All right. What sort of got you interested in that in like tending bar, doing that sort of thing?
Uh, it's because I of course have to earn my living, and I used to arbeid as a grocery store, but I really hated it, so I was trying to figure out what I can do, what kind of job I could do that I actually enjoyed doing at the most of my free time. Then I just thought, hey, I have a few friends that working at this club, uh, and I didn't normally begin to think that a bartender was just me. But then I tried it, and I actually fell in love with the work. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean that sounds really cool. I'm glad you enjoy it. What would you say the application process was like? Like how did you apply for the job?
It um it is very different from a lot of other places to work because we only have open at night, so you can't just go in and talk to the boss or anything. So I actually just found the boss on Facebook and just as a random person texted her and say, "Hey, this is my name and I would like to apply a job."
Yeah. I mean, good for you. Good for you going and getting it.
Yeah, it was a weird experience because I'm normally a very formal person.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly going to another place, go to the job environment, and give the boss the hand and say, "Here am I. I would like to apply for this job," and then maybe sit down for a talk with the boss. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it is different as a bartender. It's like I just wrote her on Facebook, and then after a few times she ignored me, but I just kept going because I really wanted the job.
Yeah.
And then
How?
then
Go
finally,
ahead.
yeah, then finally she said, "Oh, okay, we can have a job interview," but it was over the phone. So the first time I actually saw my boss without just her picture from her Facebook was on my first day at work. So it
Mm-hmm.
was very informal and quite weird never seen any of the bosses or anything before I start.
How did your fellow bartenders apply? What was their process like?
Um, there was one of the other bartenders knew the boss, so it was just like connections,
Hmm.
and the rest is like they were out drinking and randomly talked to the boss, and my boss is a female, and then she just make fun of them and say, hey, you should come and work here, and they did. So I'm actually the only one who's applied for the job and got it. Most of
Yeah,
them talked with them while they were drinking.
I mean that's pretty cool. Honestly, that's that sounds like a pretty non-traditional work environment. But honestly, that sounds pretty cool. Um, what what are some things that like before you started? What do you wish you knew? I guess is how I'd say it.
Yeah, what I wish I knew before I started. Um, the first thing is that I wish I knew the how much money I was getting because I'm not getting paid that much. My wage is so low.
Hmm.
Um, but then it's also like it's the small things that you don't think about. It's the club, so it's playing the same kind of music. It's the culture of that particular club and bar. So
Hmm.
it's the same. I don't know, 9 to 10 songs. And when you are working a shift 8 hours, it's the same 10 songs.
Yeah, that does sound like it would get on your nerves.
Yeah, so it's actually just small things. And sometimes I'm witnessing some jerk trying to get with a girl and he can't understand a hint. Then I have to be professional. I have to try to make him go away, but not
Leave the
st-
bar.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm a person trying to help everybody, even if it's it badly for me. So it's hard for me to just watch. But
Yeah.
but luckily it's not like that every time. Luckily.
Yeah. I sort of get that. I guess those would sort of be the are those like the only things you dislike? Is there like some other stuff that you're not really a big fan of?
Mm, yeah, it's like it's I normally like talking to drunk people, but that's normally when I'm drunk myself or have something to drink myself. I understand why I can't drink a lot when I'm working because I'm working,
Yeah.
but sometimes the people because they are getting drunk, they are very aggressive in their behavior, not like physically or anything, but just like throwing the money and said, I need this. That's annoying because if it's out of the blue and you are in a split second in your own thoughts, then it's pretty scary.
Yeah. Uh people definitely lose their inhibition under the influence and yeah, I definitely see how that might be a problem.
Yeah.
Um but what are some of the more positive things about, you know, the tending bar in general plus like the place that you work at?
It's like it. I mean, it is a job, but it doesn't really feel like a job. But mostly because that in Denmark it's extremely hard to live out of being a bartender. You can't get enough hours, and the wage is too low. So we all have an extra job to
Mhm.
supplement it. So the bartender job. It's more like our hobby. So
Yeah.
we like to have fun, and it's not so seriously. So we fool around with each other and making fun of them. Um, and also when there are some drunk guy doing something stupid, then we can make fun of him out loud, and he is too drunk to notice. So it's we're just a couple of guys and girls meeting up in the club, but without drinking. So it's more fun than an actually work.
Yeah, I could totally see that. It definitely sounds like you enjoy it a lot.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, do you have any like regular customers? You know, like are there a lot of people who are like buddy buddy with because they just come to the club so often?
yeah. Uh, there are a lot of. It's the same 100 people coming in, and then there's a few that's coming in regularly. But there's around 100 people coming in regularly, and you start to know them and understand their life situation. And sometimes it's like some of them is like you know them, but you haven't spoke a word to them. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite customers is like there are this Ukrainian guy coming in, and he doesn't speak Danish, but he come in and he buy a whiskey and a coke, and then he just sits at the bar, but in the corner, and sometimes we bow our heads to each other and says like, "Hey, how is going? Oh, you like a new one?" So it's like the connection, but without the words. And here's my favorite one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I was just about to ask that. Who would you consider your favorite regular customer?
yeah, it's him because he's like I think it's because of the situation he's in, because he's a Ukrainian. So he's extremely seriously. He's very sincere on how he looks and acts, but he doesn't speak that much. So it's like the connection that this here is for fun and where he can disconnect from everything, but without we have to bring anything up. But there's a lot of difference. There's also another guy. He is direct opposites of him. He's yelling constantly, and that's hard to comprehend when there's a lot of people trying to talk to you, and there's just this guy just yelling to you, not about he wants something, but oh, I'm in this situation. I have this girlfriend, and it's like I want to talk to you also, but I also have to do my work, and that's a hard um, that's hard to make sure that I can do both.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of more work in actually talking to people than have this non-verbal connection.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do you often feel like a lot of people like come to the bar and they're like, you're like their therapist, right? Do you ever get that sort of feeling, or is it sort of less because you're at like more of a club setting than a bar setting?
I don't get that much, but there are 2 or 3 guys that's coming in, and we joke around. We make them, the normal like guys don't have feelings, talk to each other, but where he is just saying what he feels, and we are both like making fun of it, but we both know that that it's serious.
Hmm.
Some of the guys coming, they have absolutely no money, so it's the only way they actually can be happy is when they are drinking, and
Yeah,
they want to have help, and I don't have the life experience to actually help them, so I'm just there to comic relief in their
yeah,
life.
yeah. I get that. Yeah, I I've been in a similar situation. My mom is a therapist. She's actually sponsoring the episode
Oh,
today. Yeah, thanks, mom. But like she gets a lot of that, like people, like, which obviously she gets paid for it, but like a lot of emotional labor, and she comes home tired a lot. I imagine it gets pretty exhausting uh to like have all of that and have to like be friendly with everyone who comes to the bar.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's pretty tough. Mostly, more like just energy wise. It's hard to stay on constantly, especially when it's that late I work. So I sleep all day and it's up at the night. So I don't see the sun, and um, that's harsh.
Yeah. How long are your shifts?
Um, it's the short ones are 5 hours, and the normal ones are 8 hours.
And you go from about when to when?
It's when it's the long ones, it's from midnight to 8 in the morning, or else it's from three in the at night to 8 in the morning.
Yeah, that definitely sounds rough. Ouch. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I can definitely imagine what not seeing the sun for a while would do to you.
Yeah, but the biggest difference it have to my life about how's it? I used to like to hear music when I'm just playing games or watching YouTube or anything, making food, and I used to like to hear like rock music and metal and so on. But because I listen to extremely loud music every time I'm at work. Right now, I never listen to music anymore. I just enjoy the sound of nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely I back when I used to work a normal job, we I used to be like, it would be really nice if they played music or something like that. Because
yeah,
we weren't allowed to wear headphones. Obviously, I did anyway. Um, but like, I feel like if they did play music while we were working, um, I would have gotten so sick of it. I would have gotten so sick of it because it was miserable work too. I imagine your feet probably hurt at the end of like 8 hours. I imagine that's the real bitch of it is how bad your feet must hurt.
yeah. It's I'm an outdoor guy. I enjoy walking and so on. So I have pretty good shoes, and that helps a lot because we also walks on a yoga mat to make it softer for our feet. But the other bartenders, they complain about their feet.
Yeah, yeah. I remember we had I what I used to do. I used to work in a warehouse, concrete floors, and if we were standing in one place, we would get the just like a half an inch at if that little mat thing, and we used to just have to stand on that all day. Oh my god, it was terrible. It was absolutely awful. And even I had like work boots. I had like primo shoes, and even then it was terrible. But like, yeah, I can definitely imagine them being the other bartenders complaining about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um.
they also like jumping and dancing around behind the bar to the music. And I'm not a dancer,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm just walking a step to the right and a step to the left to so I don't stand completely still. And I
Yeah.
think that helps a bit.
Yeah. I can see that. What would you say that like your job has like taught you? What are some like life lessons? They can be like literal or like like metaphorical, philosophical type stuff.
Oh, hmm. Yeah, I think I've been I think I know a lot of it already, but I've been more clear about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned I would say two things.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is that a silent nod with the head can help us a lot more than useless chattering.
Mm-hmm.
and I can feel that when some people come in. I'm like I'm the not guy. I'm not to people to say hi, hey instead of just yelling hey. And I can feel and sing to some of the guys. It mostly guys I can feel it with, but I feel it to a lot of guys coming in, and they can relax a bit more because they've been noticed.
Hmm.
So when people just work at the same thing and doing the same thing again, 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 and again, then they maybe forget they are actually existing in some sense. And like the small nod is like a qualification. Yes, I see you. You are still here. And I think that helps more than we realize.
Yeah, I definitely I get that.
Yeah, and I also learned something. I used to enjoy rules, trying to comply by every rule there is. But a lot of the people coming in and they are drinking, and when they are drunk, I have to take their wallet out. There are some small bags with powder landing on the bar, and that probably is drugs, and it's not legal either to have in the bar or in the country in general. And normally, I would say it to the bouncer that hey, this guy has drugs, but there are so many that have it. It's like it's probably best not to say anything, and when they're not annoying anyone trying to fight anyone, then it's probably okay to not follow that rule as long as no one is annoyed by it.
Yeah, I get that. You know, if someone they've probably taken a little bit beforehand, I would imagine. So I
Yeah,
imagine trying to like deal with someone, yeah, like that. It's probably not worth the bother. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Um, and then I guess uh, have you ever been like outside of Denmark? Have you been to like other countries' bars? I guess.
I have. I've been to Spain. Oh no, Portugal,
Hmm.
where I drank, but I wasn't allowed to drink yet.
Mm.
And it wasn't in a normal bar because I wasn't old enough to get in. I think I have to be 21 or something in Portugal. I'm not completely sure, but I wasn't old enough at that point.
Mm.
I
I see. I
was,
see.
yeah. So my parents just gave me a lot of alcohol instead. So we just drank at the hotel we were living in.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, are there any like cultural differences? But it's like you just turned 21. You're not much older than I am. I can't even go to a bar yet. So it's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I've drinking alcohol since I was 14. So I've drinking a lot in my lifetime, even though I'm still young.
yeah, yeah, I definitely get that. I know it's a lot earlier for European countries. It's usually a lot earlier to be able to drink than it is here in America. Um, but I was I guess also um just for fun, just this is a fun little question. What would you say is your favorite drink to make or to consume?
It, I usually make the easiest one, or the one I can remember the easiest. It's um, it's a drink called astronaut.
Hmm.
And it's we have an ice cream, kids ice cream in Denmark called astronaut, and it just tastes like that. It's just some soda ice cream drink. You can't feel any alcohol or taste any alcohol in it, but it's still like 20 to 25% alcohol.
Yeah, yeah. My mom actually just tried something like that. So here in America, or I guess I would say in Mexico, they have this drink called horchata, which is sweetened rice milk with like cinnamon on top. Um, and uh, we have a cream liqueur called rum chata, which is just horchata but with rum in it, and it's like 14% alcohol by volume. And apparently, I don't know this because I'm not allowed to drink, but apparently, um, uh, my mom just tried it a few months ago. If you pour rum chata into like root beer, it tastes like a root beer float. So I imagine it's sort of that same thing. Do you guys have root beer floats?
We don't have root beer at all.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Is it like an import thing? Like you guys just aren't allowed to import it, or what?
I mean, we are allowed to have it, but it's an import thing. I mean, I think we probably have it in like some import shop or anything. If you're really looking for it, you can probably find it. I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen like a Bud Light or any of those. I haven't ever seen it. So if you want to have them, you can probably find it, but then you are looking for it, and you are gonna pay an extra premium to find that.
I see. That's crazy. I mean, I I guess I would imagine it has something to do with the stuff that goes into it, because I think the plant that we use to uh, you know make it. I think it probably grows better here than it does in Europe. So I would imagine there's not a lot of people making it there. I reckon that's probably the issue.
Yeah, and we also have a lot of our own brands in Denmark.
Mm,
So we have our kind of root beer,
mm.
um, but we doesn't have root beer or anything that should taste like the same. But we just made it different. So it's like it's a Danish culture, but we drink a lot of beer. We drink when people say, "Oh, the Germans drink a lot," we drink a lot more in Denmark.
I mean, yeah, it's a thing to do. It's something to do.
Yeah, and it's fun. So no wonder why people are doing it. It's fun.
I mean, yeah. I guess personally, when I think of Denmark, I think of Legos, but it's like, I mean, imagine how much fun putting together Legos while pissed off your ass would be, right? That sounds awesome. So, like, I get it. I honestly, I get it. If that's, yeah. But yeah, I think that's, it is just sort of interesting to, like, have that difference of culture. And yeah, that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
and especially with just in general our drinking culture, because we have a lot of drinking games that when I talk to other people about them, they are just like, I think I talked to you about it, and you are like, "Whoa, why aren't you dead yet?"
Yeah, I would say explain it, because I think that's actually a really interesting uh, side of the culture. Please do explain.
Yeah, it's a name called Ølbowling, and translated to English, it's beer bowling.
Hmm.
And there are like two teams and like a dictator or a judge. Um, and both teams are sitting next to each other, in front of each other. So there's two and two.
Hmm.
And in the middle of each team, there is like a beer can or bottle or anything um, that can fall over.
Yeah,
And then you have this normal size football, soccer ball, so not American football.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and just you have to sit down and trying to make sure that the other team's beer is getting hit by it. And if it gets hit by it, they have to chug it. They have to drink it whole, the whole thing.
Hmm.
And that's the simple part of the rule. And then there's a lot of extra rules that's depending on what side of the city you live on and everything. There's a lot of rules, almost like DLCs if you're talking computer games.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, but you have to get allowed by the judge to do anything, because at any point the judge can say you have to drink uh, one mouthful, or just you have to chug the whole thing, and you don't even have to be a part of the games before the judge can say it to you. If you just watching the game, the judge is still allowed to say you have to drink, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I think that that definitely would cause some issues if even the spectators are getting pissed.
Yeah, it's the fun part, but because when they trying to stand up and going to um, going to the toilet or anything, and they are walking across the field, the the judge or anyone can say "tiamis." I don't know what that is translated to, but it's just a word,
Hmm.
and then you have to just um, assault them. I mean, not hit them or kick them, but just American football style. Make sure they hit the ground.
Yeah, yeah, tackle them, grapple them, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. So we have a lot of special rules, and one of my favorite DLC or extra rules is a rule called the Germans are coming. And to the people that don't know history, Denmark lost the whole country in World War II in under half a day. So the game says the Germans are coming. Then we have to hide behind our chairs, and the last one that doing it has to drink.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of like that sounds like a game we have in America that kids play, but I can't even think of it.
Oh,
But
yeah. I haven't seen any kids kids play of it. I mean, I've played it with small kids, like 5 or 6 year olds. But then, of course, we didn't give them beer or vodka or anything.
yeah, yeah.
Then I chugged beer and vodka, and they just got Coke or Pepsi or Sprite or something.
I mean that's almost like beer for kids, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Especially when they have to drink like a couple of bottles of them.
Oh Lord. Oh God. That's
Yeah,
I
they
can
are.
only imagine.
Yeah, they are getting more screwed than the one drinking.
Oh yeah. Especially if Danish people drink as much as you say, then it must take a lot to get you guys pissed. You must have like some kind of resistance.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have to drink half a bottle of vodka to start feeling it. So I need to drink a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a skinny guy. I'm 176 centimeters, and that's 5'7" around that.
I think it's closer to like 5'10" actually.
Is it? Okay, it's around that, and my weight is only 52 kilograms. So I'm extremely skinny, but I still need half a bottle of vodka.
That is pretty impressive. Uh,
Thank you.
I mean, you are a bartender, so you must have some kind of, you got to have at least a little bit of tolerance.
Yeah, but they actually made some new rules at no, not laws, but just like all the clubs and bars and so on. They agreed on no bartender is allowed to drink while working, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a new one. They made it, I think, 2 months before I start working there.
Hmm.
So I didn't get to get drunk while I was working, but it was the normal thing to do.
Who do you think they made that for? Who do you think fucked up so bad that they had to make that rule?
I mean, I've heard some stories where people drank a lot and was completely gone, but where they still could do this job fairly good. I mean, there was some fuck ups a few times. Sorry from language, but they effed up a few times, but nothing completely bad. So I can only imagine the thing that's been done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it must really have been over the line.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. Just being around all that alcohol, I imagine there's just some people who can't handle being near it.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. But some things I have heard that's been the worst part of working for, not for me, but one of my friends was working at another club,
Hmm.
and he can't drink the Jaeger bombs. I don't know if you have it, the
Oh
Jägermeister
yeah, yeah.
with the Red Bull.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he can't drink that anymore because he poured too many of them. So the smell just reminds him too much of that time. Didn't even drink it, but he smelled it too much that he can't drink it anymore.
yeah. I mean, Jaeger definitely has killed people before.
Oh yeah, Jaeger and tequila. That's mostly Jaeger, but when I'm drinking and people who drinks Jaeger, yeah, they're getting drunk, but they just flatline on a table until their parents come to them. But
I mean,
but
yeah,
tequila, when people drink a lot of tequila, especially in Denmark, it's what I see what people doing the most dumb shit. Again, sorry for the language, but they're doing some bad stuff on tequila.
yeah. There's actually a song here in America. It's called "Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off." Very accurate. Very accurate. Tequila.
Oh,
Yeah.
I not heard of that song.
Oh, I would say everybody should go give it a listen. It's a good song. But yeah, that's a fun thing to sort of wrap it up on is yeah. I mean, definitely accurate. Tequila is that's the hard stuff, you know.
Yeah,
Except yeah, except like everyone I know who's like from like Hispanic countries, they can handle tequila no problem. I think it's just like if it's what you grew up on, it's what you grew up on, and you're used
yeah,
to it.
and then that's probably the Danish version of Jaeger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess don't uh, try new things, but be careful. I guess that's the lesson you could get from this episode.
Yeah,
But
and don't drink and drive.
oh,
Don't.
absolutely, yeah. Don't yeah. Enjoy responsibly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Uh, awesome. Thank you, Moelgaard, for joining us. It's been very enlightening. We love to hear from you. Thank you for your enlightening perspective.
Yeah, and I'm glad you want to hear about it.
Absolutely. And thank you, audience, for listening. And I'll catch you guys next time. I want to thank Skunk Nugget Parenting again for sponsoring this episode. Go check it out at the link in our description. And I want to thank you all for listening.